Hello lovelies, it's Sharni here. I'm just going to show you some really fun cards using the new Gilded Leafing, which is coming out in the mini catalogue for January 2021. I have had a bit of fun. I'm not a professional at this. I'm still learning myself. I will just go through a few little tips that I've picked up along the way. The Gilded Leafing comes in this little pot. When you open it up, sorry, I'm left-handed and I knock things. When you open it up, it's been compressed and pushed in there. It's chock-a-block full. So you don't want to keep it in this pot. You may like to find, this is quite a deep container, just a takeaway container from the supermarket. And you can either put all of your leafing in or do what I've been doing and just topping it up. Then you've got less to fly around the room. It's very light. It's almost impossible to pick up with your fingers. So I suggest you find yourself a really nice soft brush. This is actually a makeup brush that my beautician gave me actually. So I was very fortunate I have this, but any brush will do that's soft. And as you can see, you can pick up the loose bits from around the room with your brush. The other tool that I found very, very handy is a stiff bristle. Now you can pay a fortune, small fortune, and get the professional bristles that are designed for this sort of work. But this is an old brush from my son's school years, an old school brush. And they're always, as you probably know, unless your child's done amazing art, and these are just your standard school brushes. So they're quite bristly and strong and tough. The other thing that you will need to get if you do order the Gilded Leaf is the heat and stick powder. So I'm guessing people will ask, what's the difference between this and the normal white or clear embossing powder? It's empty, there's nothing in there. This is stickier. It stays stickier and wet longer, so you've got more time, because trust me, you're going to need it. So the first thing I do when I buy my embossing powders is they go straight into a container that's labelled and has a spoon. And I make sure my containers are big enough that I can fit, big enough that I can fit a card inside of them, because then there's no cleanup. It goes straight back into the tub. There's no paper underneath and shaking it all back in. It goes straight back into the container. And if you label them like so, and the lid, they stack on top of each other and they store perfectly in the cupboard. The other thing that I found useful and essential, obviously, is your VersaMark ink. And for some of the cards I'm going to demonstrate today, I also found this amazing to use. This product, this is VersaMark Re-Inker. So if you use a lot of VersaMark, you probably do have a re-inker. If not, I advise you go get one. You can get VersaMark pens and daubers and all sorts of stuff. But this is invaluable. You can keep topping up your VersaMark, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with this shortly. So let's get started. Let's start on something super fun. I've got just a normal piece of cardstock, Whisper White, which we now know is going to be called Basic White. It'll still work and do the same. Bossing Buddy is no longer available through Stampin' Up. You can make your own. It's just corn flour in a porousy sort of little bag, you could use an old stocking or whatever, or outsource, because it is still valuable. You still need it. And I just give it a quick wipe. The reason we do it is to stop the static or to stop any greasy fingers that can help avoid the heat and stick powder from sticking to it. Now, I always have my heat and stick powder or embossing powder down the end, ready to go. You'll need also a heat gun, to, once you've got it wet, to get it to set. So the first technique we're going to be doing is super simple. You just take off your VersaMark lid, pick up your card and just smear it on in the corner like so. I'd advise you to keep the lid on your VersaMark because there's going to be stuff everywhere. I'm working on a heat. This pink matte is a heat-proof matte. And of course it's pink because that's how I roll. My girlfriend, beautiful girlfriend, Emma gave it to me. So I'm very fortunate to have it. I have no idea where she got it, so please don't ask. I don't know. I think you can actually get them as kitchen mats as well. I think that might be it. Now, I'm going to set that. Now, there's no rush now. Sorry, I was talking. Once you've got your VersaMark on, then you put on your powder. You can slow down because this won't go anywhere. If you touch it, yes, it'll come off and you have to start again. But it's on there. It's not going to go anywhere. So you can slow down, take a breath, get your next items ready, and then get your heat gun onto it. Now I'm going to make a bit of noise. The aim is to heat this up only until it gets wet, only until it just melts, sorry. So it doesn't take long. You don't want to overheat it and dry it out, you just want it wet. And then pop it in your container with the soft fluffy brush. Gently just roll it around, rub it around. And look at that, isn't that gorgeous? So it's sticking. Just give it a gentle encouragement to come off excess. Now I want a random look on this and I'm happy with the results. Now you can grab your stiff brush and really work it off because you don't want this coming off all over the room. You don't want it coming off all over your clothes or the recipient's environment. You want this all clean. And this is the most efficient way I found to get it off. Again, I'm just tipping it straight back into the container. There's no waste. Little bits fly around. Yes, I pick them up with that soft brush like I showed you earlier. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So repeat the same end. Do it again. And I'll show you what's next. I'm not going to show you every step by step because you don't need to watch me make a whole card. I'll show you the results at the end. So we're going to now, this is going to be a Christmas card. I'm using the word joy when I can find it. I've got so many stamps out at the moment. Bear with me. Oh, there we go. I'm using the word joy. Now this is from the current Peace and Joy stamp set. It is still time for Christmas cards, so I thought, why not? I need a few more. I don't know how you guys are going. So we ink it up, and then I do use that matte when I'm using photopolymer because you will get a better image, especially when you're embossing. It's important. Okay, so you can see it's just nice and snowy, nice and crystally and snowy. And we'll put the lid on our VersaMark because we don't want that going anywhere. Don't need the matte for now. And off we go and heat this up. Do be careful because the heat gun can get quite hot, so don't get your fingies. You can use tweezers to hold your piece if it's paper, if it's small. So there we go. I've brushed it on lightly and carefully with the fluffy brush. And now I will give it a bit more of a rub and Now, if the embossing powder, the sticky embossing powder went on evenly, you will get a perfect line with your image. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So the difference between that and, let's say, gold embossing powder is gold embossing powder is a lot finer and you'll get a smoother finish. This is sort of a little bit more rustic, a bit more arty. Right, then you can run that through the big shot with the dies that come with this set. So it would be this die. You can attach that, cut it through the embossing, the cutting machine, and then once you've cut it out, you can stick it to your card, and look what I've made with that. And I'm just having a ball. So I loved that clean finish. I did do this again with the word bright and onto, what's the pink cardstock? It's Blushing Bride. And I used soft suede for the sentiments, which are also in the Peace and Joy stamp set, and added some little bling. So 2 fun Christmas cards. My next project I'm going to show you is a lot of fun. You're going to love it. This is going to be, I'm going to just get some scrap paper. You do have to be prepared for a mess. I mean, you can be as tidy as you can, obviously. Some scrap paper. You don't really need embossing buddy, but if you want to give it a go with this for this card, you can. Now, this time, you're going to need a clear block base and your VersaMark refill. Squeeze out a little puddle. It's quite sticky. You don't need lots and lots. And this time I've got a different brush separate. It is not this brush. It is a different brush because this is dry. This is going to be wet and sticky, so keep it separate. You can use a wide one or a fine one. I just grabbed this one because it was fine and I could control things, and it's what I had available. So this time around, you can just use your artistic license. You don't want to go too thin, and have fun. Not too thin, not too thick. I might need some more, but I don't have any more there, so I'm not going to waste your time filling up. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I've got a little bit here and a little bit there. Put your brush away where you don't get goo on everything. And grab your embossing powder, nice and ready. Sprinkle it on. Now this is something you may have never done. I've never done it. I've only worked with gilding for less than 24 hours. So if I can do it, I'm sure you can do it. So I've got that sort of brush mark, very arty, isn't it? Again, I've got my gilding ready, my foil is ready. I'm going to heat the whole piece up quite quickly. And as you can see, you don't let it get too over dry. You want it just wet and sticky. So do not play too long with it. And then straight into the happy pot and gently brush on all your gold. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Just so decadent. I love it. Luscious. So I've got this beautiful mess here, okay? Now I'm going to go over it. Now, because this might be uneven in thickness and wetness, it might take a bit more encouragement to stick on, and because you don't want any wet bits. And just slowly work it off. the more you work it, the finer detail you're going to get. You're going to get thick bits and thin bits, and that's what I want because I did put it on with a brush. I'd like to try and get some of that look back, the brush strokes back. And I can see it starting to happen. Can you see? So, again, you don't want extra bits flying off later, so make sure you really clean up your card before you do anything more. The darker the cardstock, the more dramatic the gold will show. Obviously, opposite colour wheels, blue and yellow, best friends. And this could make a beautiful Christmas card base. This could make a lovely masculine style card. We all have fun making those, don't we? Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that effect. What do you think? Can you just eat that up? Don't eat it. Okay, so I'll show you what I did with that. I turned it into, I put it onto another card base, and I've turned it into a very simple and quick and simple card, which could be a masculine card. So that's card number 2 that I was going to demonstrate. The next card I'm going to show you is so much fun. This is from, this paper is a new designer series paper. It's called True Love. It's all black and white, all of it. I love it when Stampin' Up do black and white paper, designer paper. So you can do whatever you like with it. You can colour it, you can leave it, you can whatever. This one I'm going to do some really, really fun stuff. You will need back your clear block. I'll need some more VersaMark ink on it. And now I remember, this is why I got the thin brush. This will just wash off in water once you're ready to clean up. Pick up some on your brush, and I just chose something that I wanted to add colour to on this paper, which for me was the leaves. I thought that would be quite pretty. So I just did small batches. You do not do the whole card at once. So I've just done 3 leaves on that. I'm going to put that in my pot of sticky heat and stick powder. So you may or may not see it's gone out the edges. I'm just going to tidy that up because I do not want the gilding to go outside of the leaves. I normally have a little brush for that to pick it up, but I haven't got it on me, so I'm just going to do that. So you don't have to be that fussy. I've just obviously made a bit of a mess. Okay. Same old routine as before. Move that out of the way. Heat this up. Just as it gets wet, like gets sticky, that's enough. Straight into the gilded foil. Sorry about the wobbles. And it's picked up on the leaves. Now, does this one take a bit longer? Yes, because I'm going to do all the leaves. Is it fun? You bet. Make sure you give this card to someone who appreciates it. Gorgeous fun. Okay, so you can go as light or dark. You can take off as much or less as you want. If you want to still see a little bit of the underneath leaves. Gorgeous. And I'll show you what I made with that. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And you may be asking, oh, where did all these sentiments come from? They came from the new stamp set from the mini catalogue for next year, Many Messages. And I've done a Facebook Live on this. And all these sayings, they get stamped in one big massive stamp and one big massive die. So it cuts them and stamps them all at once. And I did this on black with white embossing powder. and I thought that was a really fun card created from that. So there are the 3 demonstrations that I'm going to show you today. I'll just show you a few other cards that I have made. Oops, similar idea with colouring in the leaves. This time I used actual stamp set. This is when I first started playing around. I hadn't worked out yet to use the embossing paste, the VersaMark with a paintbrush. So I thought, how am I going to get specific bits on a card? So what I did, and this is what you can do if you do not have re-inker, you can pick a stamp. I used this one. This is Gorgeous Posies. This is a current stamp set, but any stamp that you think will fit in the area that you want to do. So you can see the shape. And so I stamped the center of the flowers, a little bit on the side for fun, and so on. So this is all using that stamp, which is, I'll show you the size of it. That's it there. Okay, needs a bit of a wash. So you do not need the VersaMark re-inker. You can find a stamp that will do the work for you. And this paper again is next year. It's for Celebration, and it's called Paper Blooms. It's a freebie every time you spend $90, and there's all sorts of bright, happy colours. If you're a pink and navy girl, this is for you. So that's a nice one. And yes, someone mentioned to me, what do we do when these flowers are so big? They're too big, but look, I've just solved that problem. You foil them. Another card that I made is this one. And the technique is exactly the same as I've shown you. This is actually stamped, and then with VersaMark, the heat and stick powder on top, and the gilded foil. And these are all done with the paintbrush, or just rubbing this over. And the stamp set I use for that gorgeous font is another Celebration freebie, Heal Your Heart. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that one. So that was another one, and it's on Blackberry Bliss. And I made another one. This was just a piece that I had. I don't know if you can see, it's been embossed. And it was just a random piece in my drawer, already cut that size, already embossed. And I thought, I'm going to have a play with that. Now, to get all this on, I used this stamp. I didn't use anything else. I just stamped this. And then for the edges, you can see there's an edge. I just rubbed this on the edges. And how about that? I've used up all my Blackberry Bliss now. I have no more. I have to order some. Now, what else have I made to show you? I have a getaway coming up in February, and I've decided to decorate these beautiful new boxes, which again are coming in the new catalogue. You probably can't see it. I'll just take that ribbon off. Move it down this way. There's a beautiful butterfly on there, and this was all put on, and you can see the shape. You know what I used? This. But when I make more, I will just paint it with the paintbrush. And that butterfly image is from another Celebration freebie, A Touch of Ink. So this butterfly here. Isn't that gorgeous? So all my getaway girls are going to get one of these as their one of their pillow gifts, full of something delightful. Another bit of fun I had. Haven't made a full card with it yet. Again, it's with the same stamp set, A Touch of Ink, and I've used the Hummingbird and the Best Wishes font. And you can see the brushwork I did. So I wasn't really 100% happy with this card, so I actually haven't made it a card. And yes, I've had fun trying it and mucking around. And this one, again, I wasn't really happy to make it a card, but I was mucking around with the brushes. This is when I discovered to use the brushes, and that's the Flamingo, which is another new stamp set coming out for next year. And it'll be in my Happy Boxes. So if you're a Happy Box subscriber, you'll be getting the Flamingo stamp set, which is gorgeous. And we will probably not make this card, but there's the stamp set, Friendly Flamingo. And you can see I tried to do the water on there. So I will perfect a beautiful card that we will be using this product in our Happy Boxes. You'll all get a little sample of it, and we will have some fun. So that's all I have for you today. I'd like to thank you for watching and look out for more. There'll be more cards coming and more products coming when I get some more time. So take care and thank you again. Bye.